Yo, we gotta figure out the lighting situation in here, but you know what, bruh? It's all good in the hood, dog. We about to drop some knowledge today, so we're gonna do that. Um, Happy New Year. It's the 1st of January, 2025. So we're gonna get started. I wanna talk about how to change your life. Now, that's something that I almost feel unqualified to do. I wanna attempt to describe my viewpoint and how to exactly do that. I think I've successfully done that in a couple of different ways, but that's not even most important. What's most important is just me getting these thoughts out here and making this video in the first place, because this is my attempt at, you know, what's the word here? Just sharing my viewpoint on this topic. It doesn't have to be perfect. My goal with what I'm doing right here, if you don't know, 30 days straight of going live on YouTube every single day. So, without further ado, let's talk about this. How to change your life. I guess what's most important is first, well, that question itself, how to change your life. What specifically do you want to change about your life? Me personally, I spent a lot of time thinking about this because I was not, and I'm still not the kind of person or the exact person who I want to be in life. So that requires change. Now, the first most important thing when it comes to changing your life is to first understand what is the thing that you want to change, and is it worth changing? If it's not worth changing, then it's like, all right, cool, shit, I'm chilling then, right? Is it something that needs to be changed? If it's not, again, it doesn't fucking matter. But once it becomes something that does need to be changed in your own mind, that's the only time when it actually will become something you actually change. Hopefully you're following me. I guess the best way I can give this is an example. So let's just talk about this fictional character, Jerry. Jerry is a twig. He's a walking twig. He goes to the pool, doesn't even take his shirt off. He's self-conscious about that. It affects his social ability. He isn't as confident with girls. He doesn't like going to the gym because he thinks he's going to be too small. So he's got some mental things to work through, and he wants to be bigger. He wants to get rid of that. But the first thing Jerry needs to do is realize that it needs to become, actually, and it's Jerry's own choice whether he decides this or not, but it needs to become more painful staying the way he is than actually changing. So if Jerry wants to put on muscle, get better socially with girls and whatever else he's dealing with, he's got to understand that there's going to be a cost to that change. And that cost isn't free. It's going to cost some sort of pain in regards to going to the gym, not only socially or emotionally, but, physically when he's, trying to, grow his muscles. And so understanding there's a price tag to that, there has to be a bigger pain where he's currently at. He has to be in more pain staying skinny than the pain it costs to go to the gym, than the pain it costs to go out of his comfort zone and talk to that person who he's afraid to talk to. So that's the first thing. The way that your life changes is first with a change of heart. Let's talk about this general concept, a change in heart. We already talked about the pain right now needs to be greater than the pain of change, because there is a pain with change. That needs to stay consistent though as well. So as you just go about life, it's January 1st, obviously. A lot of people are going to be doing New Year's resolutions and whatnot and be done actually trying to even change anything by February. I think the success rate is for New Year's resolutions is about 8%, meaning 92% of people who make a New Year's resolution fail. So why does that happen? It's because it's not a lasting change. It might be a change of heart in the moment, but it's not necessarily a lot of times even a change of heart. It's just a change of ideas. They're like, oh yeah, this would be great if I were to do that. But they don't actually have that. They never make that change in what is painful to them. In their current situation, it needs to be painful today, but it needs to be the same amount of painful tomorrow, the same amount of painful the next day. And they need to conceptualize the person they were in the past and distance themselves from that. Still create pain associated with that type of person, that lifestyle, those thoughts, emotions, actions, and associate pleasure and increase the desire with the person that they're stepping into. And even as they're progressing along that path, continuously look back but also look forward. Build up the desire and build up the pain or the negative connotations with the old person I used to be. That is huge. That is ginormous. So important. I think a lot of people don't get that right, but it does need to be consistent. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how specifically to do that. But again, how do you change your life? Number one is a change in heart. You can understand and use your triggers. For example, smoking has always been a thing that, or smoking, vaping, a lot of people my age deal with. Vaping, super, super easy to do, super easy not to do. But because of that, it really comes down to that individual's pain threshold, or what is most painful. Is it more painful to smoke and knowing you're hurting your health long term, or is it more painful to deal with those urges of wanting to smoke? What is more painful? Now, the person who wants to change from smoking to not smoking needs to create more pain associated with smoking. So the trigger of smoking, wherever that urge comes in, well, you can use those urges. First, you need to understand it. When does that typically happen? Or just what does it feel like? What is the urge? Oh, it's when I'm, just walking, or when I'm bored, when I'm walking into a new location, because typically I'll hit my vape when I'm going from my car to some location, whether it's a restaurant, a store, whatever. If you understand that, then it's like, okay, well, as I'm doing that, instead of using that trigger, because the trigger's already there, now I need to use it effectively. If I'm using it to, just remind myself, let me hit my vape. Well, that's not doing shit. But if you want to change from smoking, if that's the goal, as you're getting out of your car, you breathe in the fresh air and you associate the positives with breathing this fresh air. Take a deep breath. You give value to your habits and the fact that you don't need to vape, and you're breathing fresh air into your lungs, clearing out mucus, breathing in total health, whatever it is. In that moment, I'm not verbalizing this the best, but it is what it is, man. This is just my first attempt, like I said, at describing this concept. I do not feel the greatest. I am a little bit hungover still from yesterday. Did I drink as well today? Quite a bit. But that's not the point. That's not the point right here at all. All right, let's keep going, dog. Fuck it. But that's what happens when you're smoking. You smoke and your trigger... fuck, man. I'm losing my train of thought all over. Let's get back centered. Let's go. If I am triggering myself when I'm, stepping out of the car, whatever, to hit my vape, if I can understand that trigger, use it instead of hitting my vape to remind myself of how terrible vaping is. If each time that trigger is I step out of my car and I think about vaping, well, I have a list on my phone or a list on my pocket. I just have a note card walking by, and this is not that, but let's say on this note card I carry with me everywhere, it has 10 health facts about smoking and vaping, and how it will negatively contribute to my life. Well, if I do that every single time I have that trigger, do you think I'm going to stop smoking? Do you think I'm going to have that change of heart, and that change of heart is going to last? 100%. So that is fucking important. Anyway, moving on. That is the first thing. Change of heart first is how you change your life. Secondly, you need to have a specific plan, specific measurable actions, and a measurable result or outcome. So it first comes with knowledge and understanding about how that thing works. Whatever you're trying to change, if you are trying to gain muscle, let's go back to Jerry's example. He wants to put on some more muscle, be better socially, talk to more girls, feel better about his body. Well, what is the thing? How can he measure that, right? He's got to get down to one specific measurable goal and one specific measurable outcome, action and outcome, right? He needs to get down to just something that he can do every day, and that thing, as you do, is going to lead toward that outcome that he wants. If he doesn't get clear on that, shit ain't gonna happen. Shit is not really gonna change. He can have this change of heart, but if he uses that ineffectively, it doesn't do shit. Now, if it's something as simple as vaping, or as simple as, just drinking more water each day, okay, yeah, you can make a couple of little minor adjustments, and then it's simple. But the bigger, deeper change, you want to build muscle, you want to get more confident socially, those are some things that are going to cause, or cause and effect. It's going to require a larger cause or a larger energy, a larger pain, to actually change. The price of change is going to be higher for that. Anyway, you need to understand what that thing is you're trying to change. Now, you don't need to become a fucking nerd and convince yourself that you're getting better in the gym by reading about a bunch of workouts. That is not how you get better in the gym. But simply understanding how that generally works. Now, there's a key distinction here. Specifically, if let's stick on this Jerry example. If he wants to gain more muscle, he should learn and spend a little bit of time learning about how muscle growth works. What he shouldn't do is spend time thinking or planning out, well, this is going to be my workout regimen. This is going to be my routine. This is all the things that I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to eat, all these things. Why shouldn't he do that? Because he starts putting all this energy in this plan rather than the actions. It's a common trap, honestly, that people get stuck into when they have this change of heart. They want to actually improve their lives. And then they go down this path of just learning, and never doing. Don't prepare. Learn while you are doing. Super, super critical to actually do if you actually want to make change. Learn while you're doing. He already understands. He wants to put on muscle. If he doesn't have a gym membership, get a fucking gym membership. Do the things already and learn as you go. When you're fucking there in the gym, that's when you figure out what you're going to do. You don't do it beforehand. Why? Because it's more about a long-term lasting change, right? So how the fuck are you going to have this long-term lasting change? Put all this time into this plan and then figure out, fuck, I don't have, something's going to go wrong, is all I'm saying. You can't have a perfect plan if you've never even done the thing. I can't have a perfect plan for what this YouTube video is going to look like if I've never done it. If I've never even hit record on a camera. I just got to hit record on the camera. That's what I'm doing right here. I'm just taking action. This is not going according to plan. But you know what? Who gives a fuck? We roll with it. We learn through it. But we learn by doing rather than learning and never doing. That person is a fucking loser. I've been that person before in my life. Don't be that person. Anyway, let's keep going. So, second part of how you change your life. First is a change of heart. Second is having a plan. Specific measurable action, specific measurable result. That's it. Just figure out what are the things that I want to measure and pay attention to. That's it. That's all you need to understand. You need to know that those things are going to, cooperate with each other. There's going to be a cause and effect relationship with those things. It's not going to just be, I'm tracking how much I go to the gym and then how many, times I have sex. Like that's not gonna necessarily like correlate necessarily. It might have correlation, but it's not going to have a cause and effect relationship, if that makes sense. So anyway, less important than actions. It's most important to learn by doing. We already talked about that. You also just need to understand this, like on a certain level, whatever you're trying to change. This example with Jerry, he wants to, just simply gain more muscle. He could simply focus on measurable action, going to the gym. How many times a week do I go to the gym? And then the measurable result is, what is my weight? Very, very simple. You can measure that. It's a number. How many times a week? How much do I weigh? Very, very simple. Perfect. That's all he needs to do, and then keep on going. Third here. So that's the second. You need to have a general plan. And then very last, third, it needs to be supported by lifestyle changes. You need to align yourself to that plan while still maintaining that change of heart and continuously, just sharpening your plan, sharpening your alignment, and getting closer and closer to the kind of person you are trying to become, the newer version of yourself. So how do you do this? You spend time, you pay attention. If you're not willing to spend time and pay attention, that is the price, that is the minimum price of any change whatsoever. If you're not willing to do that consistently over time, kiss that fucking change or that dream or goal, whatever you got, goodbye. It's not going to happen. But if you are willing to do that, you need to understand there's 3 things that are going into just essentially, how do you actually get aligned? How do you actually, make a change? There's 3 things to pay attention to. Number 1 is the thoughts. Number 2 is the emotions. Number 3 is the actions. So we talked a little bit about all of these, but let's bring this all together. So the thoughts, right? You need to understand, what is my information diet? Am I bringing in information, whether that's on social media, whether that's on, TV shows, whatever, is the information I'm bringing in aligned with the goal that I have for myself? Now, if it's as simple as quitting smoking, it can still play a role when you see all of your favorite TV characters smoking a cigarette, smoking a vape. It's going to make you more likely to do it yourself. Is it going to change your life? No, but it's something to pay a little bit of attention to. Because it could, for certain people, that could be enough for them to do that. Now, for other people, it could not necessarily be their information diet, but it could be the people they're spending their time around. This is all still around the thought realm, right? But it's putting that thought into your brain, and eventually, over enough time, it can turn into the action. But you got to be aware of the thoughts. So what is the information diet that I'm bringing in? What are the people that I'm spending my time with? Are these aligned with my goals? Now, it doesn't mean you need to cut out certain things completely, but you should learn or spend, pay attention, see how they affect you, and learn to limit or increase the things that are positive and decrease the things that are negative. Because if that's the kind of person you want to be, and again, I told you at the very start, the pain of change is a real thing. There's going to be pain associated. Now, you don't need to, like I said, cut everything out, but you do need to be willing to make some sort of a change. That's where the change could lie. So the people you're around, the information, those are the thoughts, as well as just the environment you have. The thought of smoking is a lot stronger when I have a vape in my pocket versus if I don't have one. So if you remove some of those things from your environment, you set up your environment to remove those thoughts or those triggers. It makes it a lot easier. If instead, if Jerry wants to gain weight, well, he should have some good food on hand, ready to go, ready to eat. It's going to make it a lot easier for him to gain weight. If he has a gym or something physical, like a pull-up bar in his room, that's going to make it a lot easier to gain weight. If he has on his mirror thoughts, right, environment, he just writes out the goal on his mirror and he sees it every single day. Is that going to be a little bit more conducive toward him gaining weight? 100%. So you got to pay attention to the thoughts that are coming in. What is your information diet? What is your environment? What are the people you're spending your time with? Next, emotions. What you give energy to and focus on. This is huge. Now, with energy, with emotions, let's break down the word really quick. Motion creates emotion. Energy is required to, create that motion. What you're giving life to, what you're speaking life to, the spirit in which you're speaking about the things that are important to you will determine if that thing is liked or disliked by you. Now, if I want to create negative emotions, and I need to, if I want to quit smoking, I need to talk negatively about vaping. I need to think negatively about vaping. I need to give more energy, more life to the negative idea versus the positive idea. If the positive idea, if I'm giving life to this thing emotionally, I'm like, oh, I really wish I could hit a vape right now. I really wish. You're going to ultimately be fighting that vaping urge. And eventually, at some point in time, whether you already smoked some weed or you're a little bit tipsy, you're a little bit tired, your willpower is lower, you're more vulnerable to just give in and break the change you were trying to create. So you want to be aware of those emotions and the spirit in which you're talking about things, the things you're giving energy and focusing on. Again, kind of comes down to your environment a little bit and, the influences that you have around, but also, just the energy or the spirit in which you interact with those things that are either negative or positive. Now, if every time you see somebody smoking, let's go back to that TV show example, see somebody smoking a cigarette and you're trying to quit. Well, if every single time you do that and you're just like, ew, that tastes disgusting. Even if you're not actually, fucking smoking yourself. If you associate that negative emotion every single time with smoke, every single time you smell it, by the way, that's disgusting, whatever. If I'm giving that real emotion, negative emotion, and I'm associating that with that thing that I don't want to do anymore, best believe next time someone offers you a cigarette or next time you're thinking about hitting a vape, you're going to think twice. You're going to remember that emotion. That's going to be a legitimate, real thing for you. So that's something to pay attention to. What else? Very last is actions. So we talked about thoughts, emotions. Very last is actions here. We need to decrease the detractors. What do I mean by that? The actions that you are doing on a daily basis. If Jerry wants to gain weight and his action is he doesn't eat breakfast, it's going to be harder to gain weight than somebody who eats a hefty breakfast. That's just the reality. Or somebody who eats a lot. Now, I need to make sure that I'm decreasing detractors. Now, I guess that isn't the best example, but let's say, you know, I want to lose weight. Well, the action of eating cake each night probably isn't conducive toward my goal, right? So I need to make sure that I'm decreasing the actions in my life that maybe aren't 100%, you know, part of my plan or part of my, you know, daily routine, but are some things that I, you know, kind of slide in there. I just don't pay too much attention to. You know, I'm going to need to make sure that I do pay a little bit more attention to those things. I need to make sure that I'm decreasing the things that are leading toward not what I want, and I'm increasing the supplemental actions that are going to lead toward what I want. So Jerry wants to gain weight, like by understanding, by spending some time learning. Now, you don't do this all by itself without taking action. You take action first, but you still continue to learn while you're doing it. Even better, if Jerry wants to gain weight, he goes to the gym but doesn't listen to music. He listens to audiobooks about how to gain weight while he's in the gym. How impactful would that be? And as he's doing that, he's telling himself all these positive things about how great he's becoming, how big he's becoming, and how badass he is becoming while he's in the gym. You know, he's building his biceps, but not only that, he's emotionally engaged. He's like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna fuck that bitch. I'm gonna fuck that bitch at school that I keep on drooling over. I don't fucking know where I'm going. But anyway, this is a legitimate thing though. If that's what he's thinking, he's like, bro, I'm getting fucking swole. I'm that fucking nigga. I'm that dude, bro. Look at me getting swole out here. I promise you, Jerry's gonna be way more engaged at the gym than somebody who's just kind of just going through the motions, right? Maybe it is playing music and telling himself those positive things. Who knows? Let's get back to what I was talking about though. Actions, increasing the supplemental actions. So the supplemental actions for Jerry could be eating, could be sleeping, could be stretching. As surprising as that sounds, he wants to put on muscle, gain weight. Stretching is going to help. It's not going to hurt, guarantee you that. It's going to be more in line with the action, or more in line with what he wants than the action of playing video games and you know, smoking weed. It's going to be more in line with the action, or with the end goal of who he wants to become. So he needs to turn these auxiliary actions into things that are leading him toward where he wants, and makes it easier versus makes it harder. Very simple, but you know, something that a lot of people will forget as they are trying to make a change in their life. Man, I want to lay down. My stomach is killing me. I'm trying to gain weight, actually. I'm damn near Jerry. But yeah, ate a full ass meal. Probably drank a little bit too much, and definitely you know, feeling a certain level of pain from that. But the pain of staying small is bigger than this pain, believe me. Anyway, you need to spend time continuously, just, you know, as Jerry's getting bigger, as Jerry's going to the gym, putting on this weight, putting on muscle, he needs to celebrate the successes, and you know, hate the things that didn't fuck. Hey bro, guess what? We went live, we did it. I'm proud of you. That's all that matters here. We're moving on to tomorrow. We'll have a much shorter video. We'll talk a lot less. You know, I'm glad that I made a bunch of notes and I prepared for this, but at the same time, you know, there's definitely work to do in regards to making the video a little bit more easy to digest and more fun to watch. I can work on the lighting, but look, this is me learning by doing. And I guarantee you by the end of these 30 days, some shit's gonna be looking pretty nice. We gonna have some shit figured out. We gonna have our shit together. Best believe. But like I said, man, this is me putting myself out there in a world where, you know, I do have things to lose. I got other things that are way more important than this, but I do want to give energy to an online presence, and, you know, just do it in a live fashion where there's no editing and just raw ass fucking videos. A lot of people would be scared to do what I do right now. And, you know, I was when I was a younger version of myself, to be honest. I know right now it's like, how the fuck is this even, like, this? The only way that this could impact me is if it's successful. Great. If it's not successful, how is this going to impact me? Well, it's going to make me better at speaking. It's going to make me better at, you know, putting myself out there, at least in a small version. It's going to make me better at making videos and presenting, which are skills that I want to learn, because those are things that I do on a semi-daily basis. So, you know, it doesn't hurt. But I am in hurting right now. That doesn't make sense. But you know what, bro? Congratulations. Let's cut this shit. Peace.